Okay, we are recording. So um, I would love to hear, Heidi, how did it go? Like, I know we've talked, but for the
Yeah.
sake of our group and all of that, tell me, how did it go this week, thinking through who Heidi is when she arrives and who you are when you serve your clients? Where did you land?
Um, so this is something I've been thinking about since like even career conference, but not really honing in and focusing. So it's been something in my mind. Hi, Jen. And so s- the makeup part of Mary Kay is something that, it's good, but where I'm at, can you still hear me?
Yes, you looked like you
Oh,
went away for a second. I got
okay.
scared.
There you go. I couldn't see anybody, so I was like, I don't know if we're still going.
Yeah.
Anyway, so trying to figure out how I can translate that into my Facebook group and into my business, because my focus isn't necessarily the beauty side, it's more the skincare side,
Mhm.
with the beauty, because I'm like you, I'm not a makeup diva. So I like makeup and I wear makeup, but I don't wear it every day. And I'm not, one of those YouTube makeup artists. So what I really wanted to hone in on the beauty for where you're at, and then the skin and then skincare. And so that's how I landed, was beauty and skincare solutions to fit your lifestyle.
Mhm.
So that was my main thing. And so my mission, my reason for doing what I'm doing with Mary Kay is to teach and empower women, um, teach and empower you with beauty and skincare solutions that fit your lifestyle, no matter where you're at, or no matter where. How did I put that now? No matter what season of life you're in, that's where I
Mhm.
went.
Mhm.
So.
That's good. So, and this is just digging into what you are sharing. What do you feel like what's the problem that you are really hitting head on? What do you feel like your, mission is tackling for women?
Um, I think a lot of women have a misconception that, not just with Mary Kay, but with the beauty industry altogether, that you're going to slap a whole bunch of makeup on them and make them look like a clown. And that's not where everybody is. Some people just need a little bit, or they're only comfortable with a little bit, and some people can go a little bit further. So it just kind of depends on what you're doing. Active women might not necessarily want a full face of makeup. They might want to keep it simple, but you can also teach them how to amp up their makeup for a special occasion, or something like that.
Mhm.
um, a busy mom might be is going to wear a little bit less makeup because she just don't have time for it. But as you know, if she's a professional woman, maybe she needs to give her makeup look a boost. So I think just kind of depending on where that woman is what I'm honing in on.
Mm. I like that segment there that you just explained, I think doubles the impact of your mission, because I get what you're saying, like, meeting women where they are for their season of life. Yeah, that's good. But when you framed it a little bit,
Okay.
that like it really set in.
Okay.
So and this is something that we didn't talk about last week, and it's kind
Right.
of a newer thing for me. Donald Miller did a little training this past week on it. So hearing you kind of verbalize, I'm like, whoa, that's really good. So I don't think you have to like wax eloquently, but to
Right.
say something in your own way of,
Right.
what? I think sometimes women feel like beauty is this one size fits all thing, and you have to wear a ton of makeup to say you are doing it. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know. Bleh. So what I love is that I come alongside women for their season of life, blah, blah, blah,
Mm-hmm.
totally not putting words in your mouth.
Yep.
But does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
That really was really awesome. And I hear your passion for meeting women where they are. And even like what you're walking in your own life, like, this is who I am. I'm not going to pretend that I wear makeup a full face every day.
Right.
And you should not. So that's really good. I love it.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Gen C, how about you? What you got? I was just asking, what you landed on and kind of just sharing for the group.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So I landed on, it's Monday, guys. Sorry. So I landed on being a beauty safe zone. And I think I'm going to reverse and do my problem first, because I feel like that almost gets me into how I partner with women.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like I almost hear this echoed, like with what Heidi was saying, and I think even yours kind of speaks to this. I just think this is how women feel. A lot of women in my life feel this way, where it's so overwhelming. Like, the problem is just beauty and skincare, and that whole, it's an enigma. It's overwhelming. You go into the store, there's so many aisles. You get online, it's even worse. There's ads chasing you. You have YouTube and Instagram, and you just don't even know where to start or what to do, especially if you're a little low key like I am, because we're not all Instagram artists, but we still want to look good. We want to feel our best. We want to look our best in whatever like stage we're at, whether we're, like Heidi said, whether we're active or whatever. So I create like a safe place. I partner with women and create a safe place. I'm your beauty safe zone to find the customized skincare solutions and makeup for you. Try new looks, like judgment free, ask any questions. That's what I do.
I love it. Very, very fun. And you're right. Like, for the three of us, and probably anybody, mostly 90% of Mary Kay girls, it's a similar thing that we want to do, but we have our own twist, what resonates. And so, do any of y'all have comments for each other, or for, you don't have to, I just wanted to pause, and is there any interaction we need to have on this? Okay. Cool. I really love it. And I invite you to completely go to it. You know what I mean? Give yourself over to this. And I think I had this conversation with both of you guys over the past week. I can't remember. As y'all know, my brain has not been great. So Jen, I feel you. You don't even know what all the things I messed up today. It's not getting better. So poor Heidi does, because I had to cancel our call. Because I double booked myself, and prior double booked that. Anyway, I do have a calendar. It doesn't serve me. So anyway, yes, I talked to both of you guys, I think, perhaps on this, but I don't really remember what I was going to say. So I'm going to move on to the thought that I have now. The thought is completely go in with using this as your languaging. So with your clients, with your, if you do social media stuff, you don't have to be obnoxious on your personal Facebook, but I talk about beauty BFF here and there, or simplifying beauty. I'll throw that in as a hashtag when I'm doing my stuff. And then, for sure in my private Facebook group and all of that, just languaging that. I have a welcome text that I send to my new clients through Project Broadcast, getting them into that system. And I call myself their beauty BFF. And just, I just want to kind of layer that in. And so definitely take that on, go for it. It's okay if you tweak it over time, no problem. Some of my customers have heard like 10 versions, but it's still me. So that is homework number 1 for this week, is implement where you feel like you can, implement your brand. Does that freak you guys out if I call it your brand? Okay. I didn't want to be like, oh, all up in the brand thing. And y'all are like, but it is. I mean, it's your brand of Mary Kay. So implement that this week. Now we'll move on to the next bit that we're going to talk about. And I really feel like what we talked about last week and what y'all worked on this week, and thank you so much. Y'all especially took it on, and I loved that. When you know who you authentically are and what you're authentically passionate about, it's going to be a magnet for the people who are like your people. Like when they know, oh, she's my girl. And you're going to just suck those people in. And then there will be the medium people that are like, okay, I can get on board with that. Sure. And then there will be the people who don't really relate to it. And I just want to encourage you guys and just speak out. Like, it is okay. And like, we just have to like know and like embrace the fact that we aren't going to be for everyone. And the more and more faces and appointments I do, the more I have to like come to grips. Like, I am not for everyone. They don't all value it. They don't all care. And I want to like, oh, what did I not do or say? Ooh, they should love me. I'm amazing. This is great. But even today, I was bouncing that off my coach. Like, okay, this is what I'm telling myself. It's fine. I'm working with many to find the few who will lead me to many. And he's like, yes. He's like, normal businesses, it's like 20%. So you shouldn't expect to convert 80% of the people you meet with. And some of this is just different than what we were taught, right? It was you go into the party and you convert all the people. They will all have a follow-up. They will all do a chat with you. Half of them will hold a party. That's what we were taught to like focus on and look at as success. And the more that I open my hands and just serve, the more people really don't. But I also feel better about myself and how I'm handling those relationships. And so I just want to encourage you guys, like, that is something we have to just be like, okay, they're not all going to want me. And that's not that you're bad. And that means nothing for our confidence or our confidence in our company or any of that. And it doesn't mean that the initial thing is the end, which is also what we used to be taught. If they don't do anything else with you, write them off. Don't put them in your customer list. Bah. And so I definitely think there's some healthier perspectives we can have. Hold those people more loosely. Don't look at it as such a, half the people didn't want to follow up. I must have done something wrong. We can analyze. We can do better. We can grow. But we can also go, it's okay. I want awesome people. I want the people who really want me. And the stronger those relationships are, the more fruitful they will be anyway. We won't need 100,000. We'll be okay with 100, which I remember, Jen, you and I talking a lot about this a couple years ago, about even like 40 amazing customers would do the national court of sales. Like, you can kind of change your brain. But here's the kicker. If we go for 40, we will have 2. Right? So there's that balance. And what I'm realizing is that that's where the volume does give a little bit of peace. Is if I have 2 appointments, it's like, these people have to love me or I will die. But when there's some buffer and some flow, and there's at least a few sources that are bringing in connections, there's a lot more ability to release and just, it's okay. So I wanted to share, this is something that that I think as we move from who am I going to be? Who am I showing up as? Who am I wanting to attract ideally? Then the question goes, okay, for a lot of us, we love hanging out with the people we're good about, genuine one to serve. But at the end, we have to do those things. And are they going to do the things? And that's where a lot of fear or insecurity or anxiety can sit, is the results. And so I've been having a lot of conversation with Joe on this, because I don't want to dread appointments. I don't want to be about the ending. And I don't want to feel like I have to be someone other than myself to be successful, right? So one of the things that he really spoke loudly to me when I just openly told him about some of my anxieties with appointments and how's it going to go? Are they going to like me? And he said, that kind of fear is completely attached to outcomes. And I would have said, I don't attach. Like, I don't go in there assuming they're all going to do it, but I go in there afraid none of them are going to. That's still attaching to an outcome. And for me, the kicker is when I have a goal. If I don't have a goal and I'm just doing the work, just to do the work, I'm fine. When I have a goal, when I have a growth desire, when I have a target, that's when Jess's brain goes crazy. And he's like, okay, Jess, you're attaching to an outcome. Whether it's a good outcome or a bad outcome, your obsession and your focus before you even get to their house is on the outcome. And that's a mistake. And you cannot do that. He said, the most important thing we can do is show up in who we really are, which is where that brand and that statement and clarity comes from. And just be present with that person all the way through. Be fully present with them. And there's kind of 3 things that'll help us with that, or that we might want to be tweaking a little bit. Number 1, you have to kind of slow down. It allows this like sitting down across from her, and rather than being like, okay, so, and just jumping right in, maybe just saying, hey, so is there anything specific you're hoping for from our time? What would you like to gain out of this? Is there anything on your mind? How do you feel? Maybe if they seem awkward, being like, so what are you thinking right now? I don't know. Just genuinely kind of stopping and not getting right into, even if what we do is very personal, how you get to business, there's that start. So slowing down. The second thing, listening a lot more intently, like really listening to what they say, not with an agenda, but with a desire to like really get on their page and even hear things that might have slipped past you. And then just serving all in, like not calculating anything, not trying to drive toward a certain thing, but just genuinely serving them and just being there with them. And I know none of those things are y'all doing none of, but just even more being aware, like let's slow down, let's listen, and let's just be really, truly in the moment with her. That is not going to hurt anything. And it's also going to require a couple of things that we might have to stop doing or further move away from. And it's 3 things you might have to move away from. Number 1, trying to guess what they're thinking. I'm so bad about this. Y'all, and my Enneagram 3 does not help. Because I'm like, who do you want me to be? What are you expecting? I will do it. I will be it. I will be it at the best. And so, stop it. Stop it. Second, we have to stop trying to overcome their potential objections that we don't even know if they have. If they haven't voiced that they're afraid you're going to be pushy, then how do you know they think you're going to be pushy? If they haven't voiced that they think everybody in Mary Kay wants to recruit people, you don't know that that's what their thought is. So I know for me, I can do all these mental gymnastics of who I want to show that I'm not, that I can't even be present because my brain is so occupied, you know? And it can depend on the setting. It can depend on the kind of person, but I'm putting all this stuff on them that I actually do not know. And then the last thing we have to stop doing is kind of trying to finagle our words or our actions to get a certain result. And I don't know if y'all ever do that, but I feel like that's what I learned in my first year in Mary Kay was, what do I need to say to get the booking? What do I need to say to get this? And just finagling my words. And it was also like, okay, they might think this, this, and this, and I want them to think this, this, and this, so I'm going to say this. Exhausting. Not authentic. And that's a setup for feeling sneaky. You know, I see you guys nodding and smiling, so I'm not the only one. Okay. What are y'all's thoughts here?
That kind of really hits the nail on the head for me. We've talked about the ending, how much anxiety it gives to me. But finagling the words, oh my goodness, that's just like a hit upside the head, because that's how I was taught. I need to say these things. And so my mind is so occupied with saying everything that I needed to say that I wasn't being me.
Mm.
I was being whoever wrote those words that I needed to be saying. And so this just like, wow, smacked me upside the head hard. Yeah. Yeah.
I understand. I'm sure I wrote some of those words you were told, but I was told the same thing.
Right.
You know,
right.
My first couple appointments didn't go well. Oh, it's because you didn't say this, 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 and this.
Yeah.
And there's a place for knowing how to present stuff,
right.
but it's not what we got to, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
What about you, Jen?
Yeah, I feel like a lot of me, I feel like me rebelling and like doing things my own way was almost doing this, but in the wrong way. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Because I didn't want to finagle my words. I wanted to be me. I wanted to be the klutzy girl that like I still do that. I just fling things across the table. But it was still wrong. Like I was like overcorrecting.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
And in doing that, because I was doing that, I think it was because I was doing a combination of the first two, where I was projecting what I thought they were thinking and trying to overcome that because I thought they were objections.
Mm. Mm-hmm. And it's easy to do because you do get those kinds of objections, or people you're not meeting with, but dumb people who talk to you and say stupid things that plant in your head, and you're like, oh, I don't want people to think that about me, you know? Yeah. So I hear you. And that makes a lot of sense, Jen, what you said there of you didn't exactly follow, but you kind of made a different route. It wasn't necessarily deeply grounded, right? So yeah, I'm excited for new ways, new thoughts. So here are some of the things more specifically that we can do, that we can be, that can be a different path. So obviously slowing down and listening and being present, like that alone is like, let's just start there. Truly doing that. And I know you guys have been on that path. I've been on that path, but I want to give you the words and the permission to please slow down, listen, be fully present with them, enjoy the moment, even if you break the rules. There's none of those anymore. But a couple of the things that the words Joe uses is being vulnerable and being honest and authentic with the people. And even just not hiding the fact that there are opportunities for them from our appointment, we can truly serve, and we can say, hey, when we get done, if it's okay with you, there's some options you have for how you can engage with me or work with me or our products. And if it's all right with y'all, I'll tell you about those at the end, okay? We can just say what's there anyway and just say our truth, kind of speak our truth versus, okay, now if you don't want to do that, and everyone gets a follow-up appointment, we'll schedule, it's just a lot more just genuine how you would talk to someone if there wasn't this behind the scenes, like, I have to get results or I need them to receive it this way, but just being who we are. And so, so the questions that I would ask, as you go in, how do you really want to serve these people? What is this appointment really about? And Heidi, we talked about this a couple weeks ago because you had some color appointments coming up. And you were like, okay, it's been a while. I'm like, Heidi, give them what they want. That's all you got to do. Why did they ask you to meet with them? Give them that. Provide that for them. And they went really well. I saw your results. So I think even when you think about your experiences, really just asking, okay, what would make it enjoyable for them? Is there stuff that I wouldn't do anymore? Is there stuff that I would do? And I'm not talking about recreating the whole wheel. Like, I don't think that's necessary. But people can feel, what's truly in there. Mm-hmm. Are we truly focused on making this special for them? Or are we doing the things that will get the results because this is our job? I wanted to read you guys another little excerpt from Today I Begin a New Life. Did you get the book yet, Jen? Sorry to put you on the spot. It's okay. But
I have my Amazon order to do tonight. I have my book club book as well to order. So
okay, nice.
I have mine on the way.
Do you?
Yeah, I ordered it. It's just not here yet.
Go. We'll have to do a book club on this book once y'all get it.
Ooh, that'd be great.
It's like I need to read this 10 times to like get half of it, like ingrain it, But one of the things that I jotted down here, kind of like what we talked about last week, this is a little more fluid than the formula that we liked once upon a time. And there's some trust that's required to trust yourself, to trust God, to trust that being who you are is enough. And so that's what this excerpt talks about. And it talks about secret desires and real intentions. Let's see, find where I want to start here. Okay. I learned, this is the author, I learned that our secret desires and our real intentions are the foundational drivers that determine how we choose to use the gift of our vivid visualization while creating. At the very core of my being, did I just want a life of ease with no more stress, frustration, or pain? Or did I actually want to stretch and grow, learn and improve, become all that I was meant to be? Did I want to get rich so I could get away from annoying people? Or did I want to connect with and serve others? Did I want to consume or create? Follow or lead? Did I want to receive or enrich? Take or give? I learned that if my secret desires are to engage in life and embrace the principles of success, and my real intentions are to connect with and serve others, to create value everywhere I go and with everyone I meet, and to contribute to and enrich the world, I would be in partnership with a power greater than I am. And for me, that is God. I want to read that paragraph again. I learned that if my secret desires are to engage in life and embrace the principles of success, rather than have a life of ease with no frustration or stress or pain, and my real intentions are to connect with and serve others, to create value everywhere I go and with everyone I meet, and to contribute to and enrich the world, I would be in partnership with a power greater than I am. And for me, that is God. Choosing to use my gift of vivid visualization constructively and driven by secret desires and real intentions that were congruent with creation, then inspired ideas, impressions, and solutions to challenges would be manifest to me. These inspired manifestations, visual answers to my questions, would ignite my passion to take action. And the manifestations will come upon me like the early morning dew, just for the asking. It's very poetic. But I love that they hit on our secret desires and our real intentions. And that definitely has worked on me, because no, I don't really want to just be spoiled, easy, pain-free. But is there a part of me that is like, well, when I get to this, I'm going to have so much. It's going to be so great. We can build this castle of wonderfulness, and like, I won't have all of those problems. And then when Mary Kay's real and normal, because it's life, we're like, this is not fun. This is hard. And people are mean. They don't get it. And I just love the challenge that when we truly, truly choose to be about growth and choose to be about service, we can trust it. And God is with us then. And He is our power. And He will give us the answers. And He will give us the strength. He'll give us the words. Because we're driven by the right thing, you know? So I really liked that. And that thought has resonated with me in those appointments. Like, truly, Jess. And I don't think I have to just wait and go, well, how do I feel? But to choose it, go, okay, Jess, no, you're not doing this for ease. You're not doing this for quick money. You're not doing this for a pink Cadillac or whatever. Do you really want to serve this person? If you genuinely can get your mind there, stay there, and do those things. And then you can walk out of there with your head held high no matter what. And so even last night I had, this was the 7-person party that I was late to because I didn't have myself at the right place. They were amazing, amazing, amazing people. 7 like Black ladies, fun, energetic. They were definitely faith-driven. I immediately I'm like, ooh, I like these people. And you know what? Several of them actually already had a consultant, their aunt. And I didn't walk out of there with like hundreds of dollars. There was a couple good things that like I'm going to be working on. And even one like really like genuine referral where she was like, hey, your spirit would connect with her. You need to call her, that kind of a thing. But I knew, because I didn't know any of that till the end, right? I got there. They're amazing. I love their vibe. And I just whipped me, I just had a blast, laughed, didn't get all serious because there was no way I could control that group. Are you kidding? And I just shuffled around and sweated my guts out, serve and just had fun with them. and then got to the end and was like, okay, y'all, here's your options. Here's what you got. Here's your survey, And then I found out, it wasn't going to be quite as large of a result as I, would have enjoyed. But I could leave there and go, it's all good. I gave my soul and I served, and I didn't change anything when I found out, oh, okay, some of y'all are taking some of my favorites. You know what I mean? There was just this freedom to it and going, okay, God, I don't know how you're going to bring what you want to bring, but I am showing up. I'm going to keep being that person, and I'm not going to be one bit upset that a certain result didn't come or question myself, because I know I was just me and I just poured my soul into those women in that time, So, what are y'all's thoughts?
So, what I love about that story, I'm just going to affirm you because I actually watched that video on Facebook, by the way.
I was proud of you. When you were like nodding, I was like, oh, Jen knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I actually watched it. And what I got out of the story that you just relayed was a fear of all consultants, but especially new consultants, is that party that you just can't control, and you're supposed to, and you get to the end and it just ran away from you, and you're like, and you feel like it's the worst thing ever. I actually like those. The only thing I don't like is they usually take longer, but they're fun.
Mm-hmm.
And it's more of I sometimes just feel guilty. I always felt guilty that it took longer, because I was very, it's only going to be this long, and I'm going to be very, careful with your time, and but then they had fun. So what I liked was that in your story, you had one of those parties and you just said there was no way you were going to control that situation. I can't remember exactly how you said it, but it was there's no way that you were going to control that. So you just sweated your guts off serving them. And I had this lovely picture in my head of what that looked like, because I think we've all been there. Because you just got to let them have fun.
Mm-hmm.
How horrible is it when you're trying to control that party? It's not fun. You're not really serving them, because you're being a party pooper. You're ladies, let's bring it back. Let me get back to my presentation. Let's just calm it down. That's not fun.
Let's get back to my presentation.
You're I have to read these words now. Let's look at where we are. That's not fun. It's not fun. I would always just be hey guys, just quick interruption. Just wipe that off your face before it, whatever. Just wipe it off, move on to the next thing. Just then go back to your merriment. I don't. So I loved that was your story, where it was you had that crazy party and you had no guilt or regrets afterwards of oh, well, if only I had controlled it and it would have been, done this, it would have been so much better. Such a real situation that we do deal with.
Mm-hmm.
And it's they're going to be what they're going to be.
Mm-hmm.
You could have controlled it and they would have been well, I don't like her.
Mm-hmm.
You would have gotten the same result, or worse results. That's how I always felt but I did bring it back in, and I just feel they didn't like me.
Yeah.
So that's what I loved about that story. Real situation, and you just kind of gave us the freedom to say, you know what, just have fun with them, serve them as Heidi's mission, meet them where they are.
Mm-hmm. And you want to know where the little bit of results came from? It was one lady in the corner who did her own pace. Like she was ahead. What's next? What's next? Everyone else is like 2 steps ahead. What do I do next, honey? Put that on. I mean, I just had her on her own little path. She at the end, she partway through told me she did Mary Kay before. I'm like, oh, cool. And then she's like, I want to do this again. I'm ready. I want to sign up. I can sign up on September 3rd. I'm like, okay, here's the thing, fill this out. And then I left her in the corner and went to do something. Like it was like, but that was the one. So I have her agreement. It's like sitting here on my desk. We'll see, but okay, signed herself up. Fantastic. And then one lady who did have a consultant on the survey, because I did briefly go over this at the end. I was like, y'all, contact info. If you want to gift someone this experience, if you felt it was valuable, if you enjoyed it, and think someone would just gain value from what we did tonight, you can share them. She comes over and she's like, this lady right here, your spirit will align with her, Pastor Caddy Lott. And she's like, you need to call her. And I'm like, thank you. Like, that's the kind of referral I want. I'd rather have one of those than 14, bland ones. And then what I did was I just popped around the room to the people, and when they were done, they set their clipboard down. I'm like, okay, girl, how's your face feel? What'd you like the best? What's important to you about your face? Jotted it down, and then while they're doing that, I would just glance at the back. If they had left it blank, I didn't bother them. I'm like, you're not really wanting to do these things, follow up and all that. And then a couple people had circled some stuff. And so there was like 2 of them. And I was like, hey, you want to work on eyeshadow? She's like, yeah, I think it'd be fun. Like, anything else? She's like, well, something. Oh, I think it was oiliness. Okay. I'm like, I'd love to just come and let's work on it. She's like, okay. And you know what? I've got this group of people that we meet once a month, and I think you'd be great with them. We could have a great time. I'm like, okay. It was just because she was there and it was appropriate. I think there was one more thing, but that was what I went away from that party was. But I felt good about who I was. I knew I had served. They liked the experience. It was valuable. So, yeah, I still feel like I'm in process with it, but if I can give you guys something I really believe, it's we squeeze the life out of it when we grab it too tight, and then we feel nervous because we're really truly driving at results versus letting them happen. And that's something that Joe, he does these coaching workshops, and then you have the opportunity to sign up for coaching with him. So he makes money doing the workshops, but his ongoing money is his clients. So he seeks to serve. He shares his story. He tries to provide value. He, partway through, says, hey, can I tell you about my coaching? Is that okay? I have this, and this package. This is how much it costs. If you want to know more, come talk to me. And literally his business is exploding. And he's been really because I would ask him, is it okay? Like, I feel like I'm breaking the rules, am I being wimpy that I'm not like what I've been taught to do? And he's like, no, remember, what did I do? And so we've just been talking through. And so I've tried to truly go off of their paper. If they didn't fill it out, leave them alone, especially with strangers. It's different with friends. It's different, with people we know, but kind of just letting people go through the cracks if they want to go through the cracks.
I think they're going to go through the cracks eventually, even when you chase them and make them fill out things and make them do a follow-up appointment, and they're eventually just going to ghost you. Yes.
But it's almost like that. And again, I'm not finagling this. This just popped in my brain. But it's like, I don't want it. You're like, well, but I do. You know what I mean? Like, you're almost like, I don't need you. Well, can you? I think there's some of that there. Obviously, we're not putting on a show. I'm honest. I would love to work with you. But I call this the sheet where they tell me who they are and what they want. That's what I've been saying is when we get there, I'm like, all right, girls, so here's the options you have. So as you fill it out, it just tells me who you are. It tells me what you want and how I can meet you there versus fill this thing out completely so I know what my results are. So in closing, where did I write down? So what I wrote down here, we didn't even talk about. I told God he could do whatever. I was going to give you more specifically how I open my appointments, like the detailed, like here's what I've been saying, like boom, 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 and then encourage you guys to kind of write out what you want to say. Because I do think being prepared is important. I don't go in there like, ah. I have a general like, okay, here's what I'm going to convey. Here's my truth. Here's honesty. And then we'll see what they want, and see where it goes. Would you guys like me to share that real quick, or should we save that for next week?
Share it, because I feel like you're going to tie homework to it, so we might as well.
Well, y'all would get out of it if I didn't.
I mean, Heidi can overrule me, but go for it.
Okay. And I think, because of all this we've talked about, the natural next step is to go, okay, what do I want to say? So I think it would be good, but I didn't want to take y'all too long. Here we go. So when I open up, the first thing I share with them is, guys, I'm so glad you're here. I'm going to, and this is recorded just so you don't forget. It's recorded so you can look back at it if something spurs a thought for you. But I'll just say, guys, I'm so glad you're here tonight. And I want to tell you just a little bit about me so you know why in the world you would listen to anything I have to say. And then I'll tell you kind of what to expect so you can just have a great time. Sound good? All right. So first off, I'm the last person that you would have ever expected to stand in front of you and tell you about skincare and makeup. Growing up in my middle school, high school years, I never really felt that pretty. I had some major acne problems and battled a lot with my skin. I wasn't really the girl who cared about makeup. I did not watch the YouTube videos. We didn't have YouTube back then, but I didn't do any of that. I wouldn't have watched them. So I just always felt kind of blah, and my skin just didn't do much. So got married, and I was on all these prescriptions, and I was like, I'm done. I'm not taking this stuff anymore. I'm just going to get this Mary Kay stuff from my mom and wash my face and give up on my face. I'm done. And everything started to change. And literally my face got better than ever had been. And so I still have this funny picture back of 6 months in. This is the first picture I saw of myself where I thought, my face looks kind of good. It didn't look bright red like this one or covered in zits like this one. So that is where I kind of fell in love with, you can really help someone with their skin. Your skin can really grow and improve. And I realized how much confidence that gave me. And seeing my skin improve was huge, and it felt really good. And so that's kind of where I got started doing this. And I love helping women with that. And now, good up to today, I am a mama and a wife. This is wrong way. This was me 10 years ago when I started. This is my family. So my daughter Malia is 3, Evelyn is 6, and my hubby and I, we live in McKinney. And then we have one more coming in January, another girl. First time I'll ever actually say that. Woo! And so as a mom, as a wife, I don't know about y'all, but sometimes it's hard to just care about taking care of myself, much less the time, the money. And I feel like a lot of women feel that beauty's gotten really complicated, and it just takes way more effort than we have to put into it. And so now I just love simplifying this process for women and being kind of like your beauty BFF, where I'll keep you in the know on what you need to know, work with you, and meet you where you are so you can just feel great about how you look and have what you need. So that's kind of my intro, how I explain just about myself. And then I transition as I shared that passion of what I do, then I'll transition into my hope of working with them and just say, so if you enjoy what we do tonight, if it feels valuable to you, I would love to work with you as a client over time. And there will be a survey you can fill out at the end where you can even choose, like, what are some other things you'd want to work on or try for a customized experience that we can do later. I find a lot of women, we do makeup, whether it's simple or complex, whatever, you can get into that. You do supplemental products. You tell me, and I'm at your disposal. So you'll have a chance to mark that down. I would love that. Love to get to know you better. It would be awesome. But for tonight, I want you guys to know we're going to do a cleansing process here with this skincare, a really awesome treatment based on whichever one you guys tried, a lip treatment, and then a foundation match. And so we'll walk through that, and y'all just know you're under no obligation today. You do not have to do something. You don't have to buy something. Just enjoy. And then if you fall in love with something, you have a question, or sometimes you're like, tell me more. At the very end, if it's okay with you guys, I'll explain options that you have for working with me or working with our products. And that's one of the cool things is this time we spend, you don't have to spend $1 million to like carry forward. If something works really well and feels awesome, you can take it home and you can keep using it. I keep a pretty full store. But that's totally up to you. So when we get to the end, we'll go there. Did I forget anything? That's it. That's the whole thing. So, hey, Tony, by the way, I'm glad you were with us for a few.
Sorry.
Oh, you're fine. We got meetings. We got to be where we got to be, right? So that's my opening. It varies a little, but that's in general what I share with them. And that's me, that's who I am and how I want to come across. So it's still setting up the truth that, hey, you can work with me in a customized experience. You can pick other stuff you want to try. There's options for purchasing. I carry a full store, but hopefully it's coming across as, what do you want? How, and an invitation more than, So any questions on that? What I would encourage you guys to do is think through and just get that first round draft of yours. How do you want to open your appointments to lay the groundwork? You guys know the stuff that we're supposed to say or supposed to explain. And let's be honest, if you would like to sell anything, if you would like to have another appointment or a party, if you would like potentially to work with team members, then you should be honest about that. That shouldn't be under the radar because that's not going to work. And then you really feel sneaky because you're like, man, I'm frustrated, but you aren't like, say anything. So obviously we want to be upfront, but how can you find your words? And yet flexible, like I changed the order here and there. It's definitely not memorized, but I just, know the points I want to hit. So think through that this week. That's the homework. Besides implementing your who you be, besides implementing who you are, how do you want to begin to set that up in those appointments? Bring who you are in and just being upfront about, hey, here's what we got going on. Then you can set it aside and completely focus. Do you have any questions though? Feedback, thoughts on that? Tony, I know you didn't see much, but if you have any too.
Yeah, I'll go back and watch.
Yeah. I don't see anybody. Okay. I hope that this has been helpful and just good food for thought and freedom, continued freedom. Being a business owner is not easy. This stuff is kind of hard to think through and figure out, and it takes some trial and error, but it's also hard to have a boss. And it's hard to, have an hourly job, and it's hard. All the things are hard. That's one of the things Leah Lachlan has changed my life with, was her hard stuff. Like, oh, You're right. It's hard not to eat ice cream, and it's hard to have eaten the ice cream. Honesty moment there. But anyway, take the time, think it through. Shoot me messages this week. I would love to hear how you're working on things, what's happening, what's clicking. And I hope that this has just spurred some good thoughts for you. More than anything, I want you guys to feel free and to feel excited to serve because you know where you're aiming, and it's not this weird craziness, that you guys are so passionate to do the work of serving because all the head stuff is taken care of and is on the table. So, all right, I won't talk any longer. Y'all have a good night. Get some sleep, and I'll be talking to you. Sound good?